peeking. Beautiful. Okay, folks, let's see. Who do we have up first here? I think we're going to pick on Tanya here. Let's look up what their issue is. Ooh, looks like we've got a 2-for-1 here. So, Tanya seems to have 2 HomePods. They've got one with blinking volume buttons and one that pops that they also want to get changed to the black. So we're gonna knock that out. The question is, which one are we gonna end up with first here? This one's got an X on it. According to their notes, thank you very much for leaving this, actually. It's much appreciated. So the one with the X on it... Oh, this looks like something completely unrelated, I think. Okay. Well, then it's a mystery. Let's see what we've got here. I'm gonna guess this is the one that's blinking because it sure is taking its time turning on there. Oh, that's right, and it would make sense. They said the blinking HomePod's the one that was the black one in our email. So, okay. Perfect. We're just getting ourselves another logic board that we can use here. This is just one of my parts pods from my tiny little backup stash. Boy, I wish Apple would just let us restore the software on these things. That would just be so easy and we wouldn't have to charge so much for repairs. This would easily be like a $20 to $40 repair. And most people would be able to do it themselves. All they have to do is remove this rubber base and plug in a 3D printable USB adapter that they can then plug their HomePods into their computer and simply click the restore button. But even though we've gotten that far, unfortunately, Apple, for whatever reason, just does not allow you to actually restore the software. Like, it attempts to reach out to their software server, but the software server says you're not allowed to. Or we don't have anything for you. We know it exists. Just, unfortunately, not in a publicly signed form. Alright, well, here's our good logic board. We'll put that off to the side. And we'll get to taking this one apart. I just can't tell if somebody's already tried prying this off a little bit or if it's just the marker. Doesn't really feel like anybody's tried prying it up yet, so. There we go. Alright, so there's our presumably bad and bricked logic board. Let's not get those mixed up. And, well, I guess into the pile it goes. We could put this right back together and move on, but there are a number of common issues with these things beyond the logic boards, so we're going to go ahead and take it just a little further apart and make the money that they're spending on this repair worth it. We're going to make sure that it doesn't have bad filters, which tend to allow DC voltage through the amp and into the subwoofer, which can lead to death farts and bass issues. And then you've got the more common straight up no power issue caused by a bad batch of diodes floating around out there. So we'll check both of those and also just give everything else a once over. If that all looks good, or if we find anything we're concerned about, we'll just get that knocked out, and then we can put this back together and move on to the next one. Easy. And how we're going to test that is we're going to get the subwoofer speaker out, and then we're going to plug our subwoofer in. It's got a connection to our multimeter over here, and that allows us to test the amplifier's output and see how much DC voltage is being put out, which gives us an idea of how good or bad the filters are for death farts and bass issues. And then as far as the no power issue with those bad diodes, that one's a lot easier. We can just look at the date code on the diode itself. If it's got a date code of 46K or 48K, then it's gonna have to go. Because the last thing we want is for us to do all this work replacing the logic board with another one, them shipping it back and forth and all that, and the thing to go, have no power issues a few weeks or a few months down the road for parts that we know are going to fail. And in general, these things seem to be pretty reliable. Once they've got the parts they need to stay going. So our subwoofer looks great. Oh, we do have a 48K dated diode. That makes me unhappy. So yeah, I was blabbering on about that no power issue, and of course this one does have one of those diodes that will inevitably fail and cause said no power issues. So let's at least, before we take this apart, see if it needs new filters as well, and then we'll get that amplifier out and do what all needs to be done. And this gives us a good opportunity to check and make sure that with, a good logic board that at least this HomePod is working for now again. And it confirms that their logic board was in fact bricked. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we do have an excellent DC offset. It's hovering at about 1 millivolt. We generally change the filters when it hits around about or more 50 millivolts. In reality, the amplifier can actually tolerate up to about 200 millivolts before real issues start to occur. So we give a pretty large safety margin there. But all that said, those filters appear to be working good as new, so no reason to go replacing them if they are working and testing just fine. Unless absolutely necessary, because you don't want to cause more problems than you're trying to prevent. This diode issue in particular is an exception. Generally, you don't want to just be preemptively replacing parts that are just working fine, but this diode issue is an exception because of the sheer number of ones that we've been seeing failing or not failing, and the date codes on those diodes that correlate. And it's pretty much a guaranteed 100% failure rate for, the 46Ks and 48Ks. As for all the other ones out there, we've seen ones as low as 1720K and as high as 1802K, I think. And literally only those two specific date codes that we mentioned are the ones that keep failing. Oh man, those screws are kinda... They really put those ones in. we're in here. If we get up close, we can see 48K right there. That's the date code of the devil. So let's get that out of here. All right, let's put this thing back together. We'll need to factory reset that, of course, but I know it's up to date. I was just testing this board for the past few weeks. I know it's good. What's the weather? No, you probably can't even hear me right now. You're still thinking about it. Hello. Talk to me.
I'm having trouble connecting to.
There we go. Beautiful. Okay. We got the bricked one good to go, just about. We'll factory reset that, of course. Here is the other one. This one is popping. So let's take a quick listen at that. And they also want this one changed to black. So let's see here. Oh boy, that sounds like it's got no more bass. Okay. Let's get... Oh, that is in beautiful shape. All right. Oof. Ooh. That's roasted. Ooh, that's stinky. That's real stinky. Let's get that out of here. Alright, so we got ourselves another subwoofer here. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at exactly how bad that amplifier is. We'll get to demonstrate a little bit for you guys what happens when these filters go bad. Ooh, the more I tear this open, the stinkier it gets. Oh. Okay, so let's actually plug this in to our multimeter over here, and we'll test out how bad this really is. And keep an eye on the subwoofer here. Alright, you ready for this? Ooh.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
So we've got 270
Check the home app.
millivolts, 280 millivolts. It just keeps growing. And that's one of the characteristics of these capacitors. As they fail, the hotter they get, the worse their failure also tends to get. So it'll warm up to operating temperature, most likely a death fart. Watch the subwoofer again after I unplug it from power. So you see how it kind of like settled back down? DC voltage to a speaker is basically like playing a constant tone on it, but without the benefit of the movement of the speaker being able to cool itself. And without that, on a subwoofer speaker like this in particular, it can be very fatal. The subwoofer speaker has to work extra hard to hold itself in that position based on how much DC voltage it's getting. The amplifier has to work extra hard to power that, and all these other components on the amplifier are seeing all this extra DC voltage they weren't meant to see. So let's get those filters replaced, and that should bring our DC offset under control. We want that less than 50 millivolts, and then we'll feel good about putting it back together with a fresh new subwoofer speaker. And of course, while we're in here, we'll check the date code on its diode as well, just to make sure it's not gonna have no power issues in the near future. Okay. If we look at the diode first, yeah, it's got a 6K date there. 46K, so that needs to get replaced. It does look a little toasty too, if you ask me. So we'll get that, but first let's get our filters. I like to give these a little bit of time to cool while we work on anything else on the board. So we do those first. There we go. You get back there. I'll take that. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see what we're dancing with here.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Beautiful. We're sitting at around 11 millivolts, and I expect that to get a little better over the next day or so as those capacitors cool off and sort of settle in. Achoo! Ugh. Achoo! And there you go, you've got yourself one working black HomePod. Oh boy. And one person horrible at doing cameras. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, volume buttons light up nice and evenly.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Sounds nice and bassy. Excellent. Well, they are all fixed up and ready to go. So let's move on to Jeremy. We've got Jeremy. There you have it. We got another bricked home pod. Y'all are sucking my logic boards dry. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, that's bricked. Dare we even wait? No. No, we do not. Almost took my hand off. Not this time, Tim Cook. That thing is stuck in there. What the heck? All right. Into the pile. No, you stay over there. Let's retrieve ourselves a logic board that does work. So basically the same exact thing we just did. And here is our good logic board. So, just like we did with Tanya's HomePod with the bad logic board, we're going to do the same thing to this one as we do with all of them. We're going to take this apart just a little bit further to make sure there aren't any other known bad or going bad parts inside waiting to cause more problems. More often than not, it ends up being worth our time. That's the first time that's came off like that. .36K dated diode, so we don't have to worry about any no power issues coming from that. Let's go ahead and check it out for DC offset, make sure its filters are good and it's not going to have death farts anytime soon. And gives us an opportunity to make sure that this logic board, it works just fine with the rest of these parts. Not that there's any reason it wouldn't. None of the parts in any of the HomePods are serialized between each other, but beautiful. So we got a nice clean offset there, about 2 to 3 millivolts, and we don't have a sketchy Schottky diode to worry about. So this is good to put back together.
Hey, you have a good time today?
and let the magic happen.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
All right. We'll get that factory reset, of course, for them before we send it out. But up next is now Grayson's HomePod with a refreshingly familiar issue: no power. Finally. Alright, so 6 watts of power draw, nothing else. Looks like another dead diode to me. Here we go. Ah, that really beat me up. Wow. Why was that so hard? Huh. Oh well. Hey, Grayson, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh. Oh boy, it's like every bit of adhesive on this HomePod is like extra sticky somehow. It's not sticky is the weird thing. Like, it seems like it's an otherwise perfectly great shape. I wonder if it was just at like the perfect temperature for that adhesive to like be as sticky as possible. Yeah, it does look like it was well taken care of. I'll give you that. I like to think I take good care of my stuff, and then I knock it 10 feet off the shelf onto the floor. And surprisingly, it actually fared just fine. But should have seen my wife and my face when it hit the floor, and we just both looked at it, and then we both looked at each other. We were like, ugh. And I was like, wait a sec. I don't care. I fixed these. I do care. You know, it's time and effort and parts if I gotta replace anything, but still kind of liberating to like be able to fix the stuff that you use, because then if something breaks, you just, you know, Marty Chang, you fix it. Throw your keys in the toilet. Throw a kiwi in the toilet. Throw the remote in the toilet. And the next day, your parents will buy you a new computer. There it is, 48K, our familiar foe. It was kind of like that with my 300ZX car too. It's like I got to the point where I could swap a new motor in that thing in a weekend easy. And I drove it. I drove it like it. I'll put it that way. I drove it like motor swaps were no big deal. big fat injectors for a big fat turbo, and some real-time tuning to make it all happy. Of course, it's the learning the real-time tuning that typically cost me my motors. It wasn't usually my driving, it was my poor skill at tuning an engine. I wouldn't say poor skill, I guess just more lack of experience, but motor after motor, we surely eventually got it locked in pretty good. And thankfully, motors for that car are basically a dime a dozen, because they didn't just come in the Z car, they came in Maximas, Pathfinders, to a degree the Quest vans as well. Not Quest, I think that was the Quest, Nissan Quest, yeah. And a few other cars up to the early 2000s even. So, really easy to find another of the same engine, swap the accessories onto it, and you're good to go. Until we had her. That's the kind of stuff I lived for, though, was rebuilding my Z, taking it out for a spin, tuning it out, adding more power, blowing it up, and then the adventure limping it home. That's what I live for. Now I can still get away with that once in a while, but I'm not going to do that with my kid on me until she gets a little older. Yeah, it may pay off in the end, it may not. But I don't look at it that way necessarily. It's more of it's purely just a hobby for me. If I was trying to save money or do it like the best way possible, there are probably better ways around it. There are probably better cars and this, that, and the other thing. But I just wanted to have fun, and I had fun doing it. It was great. And I can't wait to take my kid out and drag her out with me to do dumb stuff like that too. Or I get a call from her, "Dad, can you come pick me up? I blew up the car again." Well, does it still start? Yeah, but it's only running on like 4 out of the 6 cylinders. Well, it'll make it home. Beautiful. We've got good, clean power, so this is ready to get put back together. Yeah, fishing is cool and all, but I want to take my kid out and do car stuff. That's just more dad stuff. I guess dads take their kids fishing and do car stuff, and what other kind of dad stuff do? They go to the fair, I guess. Oh man, what's she gonna be into? Is she gonna do 4-H? She's gonna be like her mom and get into like cosmetology. Ooh, then mom can do my nails and she can do my feet. Oh man, nothing beats a good freaking pedicure, let me tell you, man. I never would have imagined getting a pedicure before I met my wife, and then she's like, you know, she goes to cosmetology school, she wants to get her license to do nails professionally, and part of that, of course, you have to go through school to do it, and part of the school is pedicures. Even if you aren't going to offer pedicures at your business, to get your business or to get your nail whatever license in Washington, you got to go to school to do it, and you gotta at least prove you know how to give pedicures. But you know, perfect opportunity to go get some free pedicures. And nothing beats some fresh feet. Fresh, just fresh. And then I went wild. I was like, okay, fine, you can do my nails, you can give me a manicure. And I told her I wanted bus seat nails. I wanted vintage bus seat nails. Boy, she did them great. She did them real good. And they just, like, touching things and, like, the tactile feedback that you get back from, like, the extra sensitivity, having your cuticles all cleaned up, like, your fingers and your hands just feel like, oh, man. And even if you beat up your hands all the time, even if you're rough with your hands, you should still get a manicure once in a while, and a pedicure. It's like brushing your teeth, but for your nails. Or getting your hair cut, but for your nails. Sure, you could do it yourself. But the results speak for themselves. Throw up a picture of me cutting my own hair and what that looked like. Throw up another picture of me trying to dye my own hair and what that ended up looking like. Man, I was in middle school and I ended up with a box of my mom's, like, black hair dye. Either that or she like, maybe she just got it for me because I just bugged her about it, and I really wanted to try to dye my hair black. And I didn't do it very well. And I did, of course, proceed to immediately go outside and mow the lawn. And I was like sweating these like blue streaks that like stained my head and face. That was dumb. Moral of the story is, do what you want, have fun, but also know when to seek professional help. Oh, why is that so common? Why is that so common? All my hair ended up falling out anyways. I don't know why I was worried about how it looked. Got that alopecia, bro. Don't gotta worry about no hair no more. Military would have been proud of me. No shaving, no blades, no nothing. That's all natural. All natural baldness. Yeah, those are the. I don't remember what brand. I think it's from like Miniverse or something like that. My wife is absolutely obsessed with them. And the pile is it's growing. Beautiful. All right. One more. We've got Stevens here.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app. I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
I'm having trouble connecting. I'm having trouble
Okay, thank you. Yes. Hey Grayson, thanks for stopping by. Feel free to hang out or dip off, and you'll hear from us in a little bit after our stream with how to wrap yours up and get it back, you know? Let's see, this one is Steve. Steve with no power. Last one of the evening. Same exact symptoms as Grayson's, so I'm expecting the exact same kind of repair to go down. Let's open it up and find out. I don't know what's up with these today. There must be like something with the particular like temperature and humidity in the room right now that's just making this a huge pain. But we're past it. Yeah, no kidding, I'm starting to sweat. that last top really took the life out of the rest of my squeeze for the day. This thing is really saving us. Alright, place your bets. 4.6K or 4.8K? Hey, it's a 6K. Oh, hey, yeah, we've got power. Look at that. You're really thinking about it, huh? This must have been... Oh, no. No kidding. Really? You're bricked? I wonder if it lost its power in the middle of a software update and it just is not gonna have it. You know, for posterity, let's just disconnect everything. Make sure everything is reconnected. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad. This is honestly, I think this will be the first time we've ever had one come in for no power and just end up like having bricked itself in the process. Yeah, I don't see anything weird. Plug it all back up. I'm just hoping I didn't have something plugged in all the way. Yeah, this all looks good. We'll try a different display too while we're at it. This is not how I wanted to end our stream. Come on, boot up for me. Boot up for me. I believe in you. I don't think it's gonna do it. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to give Steve some options there. We're either gonna have to give him the option to pay for the bricked repair, which is a little more expensive than the no power repair, or we can put it all back together, and we won't charge him anything, and he can just pay for return shipping, and at least his no power HomePod now turns on, but it is unfortunately also bricked, so it'll at least be worth something for parts if he wants to sell it, or maybe he'll sell it to us for parts and we'll take that for something else. We'll see. But dang, not my favorite way to end the stream, but they all can't all be perfect. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.